Good afternoon, everybody. I hope y'all have a great Friday and in having a good morning or had one. It's been a good morning for me. My legs are fucking killing. Other than that, it's been straight. I've been jamming out to music, rocking it out, man. Look at those fucking clouds. I've been coming out here just staring at them like, damn, man. They're so big. Sometimes I wish I could like just float on top of them. I don't know. I stare at the sky and wonder a lot, why we're here. And like, it really always bothered me, like, why we stare at, like, ocean life, right? Like, we stare at all these animals, you know what I mean? And whales and sharks and penguins and, our kids, we take our kids to all these places to stare at these things, you know what I mean, in amazement. But here we are eating them, you know what I mean? This is why I believed in the Bible a lot too, because if you read the Bible and you've been watching my, videos, I mentioned, God commanded Noah to eat the animals that, we weren't really made to eat animals. Everyone knows it too. We all know it's bad for us, I love it though. That's the thing. The taste of it, everything, the smell of it. Even God loved the smell of the aroma. That's why they sacrificed, God had them sacrifice. The Bible even clearly says they would sacrifice the animals, to cover the sins, That's why these people would migrate, from all over Mesopotamia, and these are ancient ways. People tend to forget that these are like really, really, really ancient, ancient stuff. And the Bible clearly says that these things are older than all the stuff that you see today, all these Buddhisms and Taoisms and stuff, the Bible, that's why I like the Old Testament, because the Old Testament talks about the stuff before that. It talks about, how we're here, why we're here, the Tower of Babel, Noah, which we're going to be going over all the Bible stories. We'll do one today, we'll be reading today. I figured out what I'm doing today. So I've been on the computer. I'm developed, right? I told everyone we're going to be learning man pages, learning how to script, and I'm going to be recording it. So this is what I found. It's called the Advanced Bash Scripting Guide. It's called the ABS Dash Guide. We're going to go ahead and try to, just see what it's about and stuff, see if it's what it is. I found another Bible time study. And then the FCC exam, study tool for the USA FCC commercial radio license exams, which is really important to me. I've been meaning to get my hands, I got to learn all of this for my ham radio license. So I can communicate. There goes that solar energy company. They constantly call me. I tell them stop calling me. They constantly call me. Alright, so it says FCC exam is an interactive study guide for the USA FCC commercial radio exams. Question, pool choices. The T1 first class radio telegraph elements 156. T2 second class radio telegraph elements 156. T3 third class radio telegraph elements 15. The GROL general radio telephone operator license elements 13. The JROL plus general radio telephone operator license radar elements 138. MROP marine operator permit element 1. Global maritime distress safety system audio radio operator elements, all of the stuff. GMDSS plus, GMDSS radio maintainer radar elements. This is everything. Questions are chosen randomly from the selected pool. Incorrect answers cause a question to be asked again later. Licenses are issued by the FCC, but exams are conducted by the COLEM examiners. For more information about FCC commercial radio licensing, here is the actual website. So this is really important for me because this is all the stuff I've been developing in. This is the stuff that's going to make me rich. The richest man in the world. for sure. So, So I got to get this. This is what I'm going down to. Also going down to Full Sail University so I can get my master's, finish my degree, and once I release my program and stuff, I start getting more funds. I'm going to start sinking money into my inventions and those things for global warming, that type of things. And these things that I'm doing, nobody knows what it is that I have discovered. So, it doesn't really matter. If they develop stuff for it, I'm happy. You know what I mean? If they start, kind of putting in the footwork for me, and I find that they got good work, I'll pay for it. So that's why I'm kind of sharing too. So it says commercial radio operator license program. FCC rules require that licensees of ship and aircraft stations permit only persons holding the appropriate FCC issued commercial operator license to perform specified transmitter operation, maintenance, and repair duties. To obtain a new or upgraded FCC commercial operator license, you must pass an examination administered by one of the commercial operator license examination managers. Who needs a commercial operator license? You need a commercial operator license to operate and or to repair and maintain specified ship and aircraft radio communication stations. The licensing requirement for operating such radio stations and the licensing requirement for repairing and maintaining such radio stations are discussed separately below. It says, caution, these listings only describe when a commercial operator license is necessary. A commercial operator license does not constitute or imply FCC authorization to transmit radio signals. Before you operate any radio station, make certain that the station is licensed as required by the FCC. Which I actually plan on hosting my own, radio stations and stuff, or the music that I like and stuff as I travel. And people have been doing this. They're called those pirate ships. They literally, not pirate ships, they're radio pirate ships. People play their own music, you know what I mean, and have their own radio stations, play over their own radio stations. They did it during the 70s. They did it really big. Ireland did it, you know what I mean? The whole, that militia, all the militias do it, it's propaganda, you know what I mean? Korea does it. Fucking, they send ships into North Korea all the time, telling people where drop-off zones are, all types of shit, man. This is all, it's like secret technology with the war. It's not secret, obviously, but people use it to do secret missions. During World War II, they would encrypt messages over these radios, ham radios and stuff. This is all the stuff we're going to be learning. This is the stuff we're going to be, this is the stuff that I know. And I want to learn more. And here's the thing with Linux and computers and developing. There's one thing that you must learn. You'll never know everything. There's no way to know everything. And this is also why I want to brush up and start learning again, all over again from the basics. Because, I want to go through my stuff and get all the bugs out and stuff, And I've been kind of, compiling stuff from open source from other people's ideas. So, I got to put all the stuff together, right? And get it to work correctly, which I have some of it working, most of it actually. I'm keep on looking this way. I have most of it working already, but I need help. There's some stuff that I don't know. So this is why we're doing this. So I was like, you know what? I got to learn this stuff. We're going to do it. So radio operations. It says you need a commercial radio operator license to operate the following. Ship radio stations if the vessel carries more than 6 passengers for hire, or the radio operates on medium frequencies, MF, or high frequencies, HF, or the ship sails to foreign ports, or the ship station transmits radio telegraphy, or the ship is larger than 300 gross tons and is required by law to carry a radio station for safety purposes. Aircraft radio stations, except those which operate only on very high frequencies, VHF, and do not make foreign flights. So that's like these, like kind of similar to these right here. These are UHF, VHF band. This is what they're speaking of. Okay, they're allowed by civilians to use and stuff like that, and like the police and everything, they can operate on all these frequencies that you don't have to have a license to operate on, in a sense. They're open because they don't interfere or mess with any military frequencies or any of like the cell towers, like our phones, or whatever other technology that we use. Wi-Fi, microwaves, they use the same thing as Wi-Fi. They use the same frequencies as Wi-Fi do. That's why, like, if you have a router, say if you have a router right here, okay, and your computer, say the microwave is right here and your computer's over there, you turn the microwave on, it's going to mess up the signal for your Wi-Fi. You'll have packet loss. The data that's being transferred through the air that's going through your body, the stuff we can't see, it messes with it. It can cause problems. Not all the time, they've fixed, the technology these days are so advanced, but it still could be a problem. It can actually go through the wires. A lot of people don't know, like these wires and stuff, they're twisted. They're called twisted pair. They have twists in the wires, and they have special coating for magnetic. There's like a magnetic shield that goes around it, and that stuff is actually bad for our bodies. Over time, you get all this your body. Listen, our bodies aren't made to have all this technology. That's why I don't have no. The only thing I have in my room is a fan. That's it. It's the only thing I keep in my room. I don't put TVs and stuff like that. I don't do computing in my room or anything like that, because it will keep you up. You won't get good sleep. That room is only for family, for sleep and other things, if you know what I mean. And putting money in my clothes and all that other stuff. But not for entertainment. Entertainment is out here, family room. So these another reason why I wanted to. You gotta get a planner. You can't run a business without a planner. It's not possible. Don't think you're going to be able to even run a decent business, not even be a millionaire, or run a business at all. If you don't use a planner and you run a business, you're a shitty business person. You are. I'm just being honest. Especially if you're traveling around the world, you're not going to remember all these names, all that stuff. So it says, we're starting today. Life begins. Life begins. Make today amazing. We're going to make every day amazing, right? So July 7th, life begins in my own particular color. We're using purple today. It's my favorite color. So what is today? Today is Friday. So it's Friday the 7th. It doesn't matter that this is why I like these. It doesn't matter, we're not going to go ahead and go through this. We're just going to write it out for now. That's why I like these. You can just start it any day. It doesn't matter, So today we're downloaded ABS guide. So let's go back here. So we're going to be messing with ABS guide. This is not just for, listen, there's a reason why you use these. These are not just for making lists and stuff like that, for things to do. There are things that you've done. You can come back as a reminder, like what you did that day, and remember all this stuff, because you got to build all these things, use all these programs, there's no way you're going to remember all this stuff. So we're going to be using ABS guide because it's advanced bash scripting, which I'll go ahead and read that one. It says, an in-depth exploration of the art of shell scripting. This tutorial assumes no previous knowledge of scripting or programming, but progresses rapidly toward an intermediate advanced level of instruction, all while sneaking in little snippets of Unix, -R, which is basically Apple, wisdom and lore. It serves as a textbook, a manual for self-study, and a reference and source of knowledge on all shell scripting techniques. The exercises and heavily commented examples invite active reader participation under the premise that the only way to really learn scripting is to write scripts. This book is suitable for classroom use as a general introduction to programming concepts. So this is what we're going to use. Which I'm going to put my goals. It says this month I want to get truck running. That's all I'm going to put down for today. My goals is we're going to use ABS guide and start making videos for bash scripting. So ABS guide. All right. This thing feels like it's going to fall. There we go. ABS guide, bash scripting videos. Because we're going to learn how to program together. All right, we're getting those done, and then we're going to go for the FCC exam. So we're going to be studying these all week, at least once a day, at least 1 hour a day, a video. So that's fine, that works. That's good enough, because you can't, listen, man, there's only so much you can do in a day. The rest of the time you got to rely on the Lord, I'm telling you. Go slow. If you're moving fast, you're evil. The only one that should be moving fast is God. And listen, he don't move fast. He's slow to anger. Look how, listen, it rains and it shines on the good and the bad. So we're going to go ahead and install them, including the Bible time, which, we always use the Bible. I don't need to write that down. Happy thoughts. It says, write down happy thoughts. Sailing around the world. That's the goal. Those are the happy thoughts. I keep those in my mind. I entertain them in my imagination constantly. That's why I love these things. They help you, keep yourself, thinking about the good stuff, and then it also helps you be creative. It brings your creative side back out. I can't tell you how many people have lost their creative side. That's why they're sick. They don't do anything. They just sit around. They don't do anything that they enjoy doing. That's why they're sick. That's why they catch cancer and all these other things. That's facts. Sailing around, happy thoughts, Mago for sure. That's number one. But, I was just talking about here, Mago, my daughter, Ashlyn. All right. And then, Lennox studies, but we already got that. That's about it for now, Sailing around, Mago, Ashlyn, and YouTube friends. I can't wait to have YouTube friends. Actual people that, are, that are just doing stuff, you know what I mean? They don't necessarily have to be Jesus thumpers, you know what I mean? But, they're positive people, they're doing stuff, they're not negative constantly, they're and also people that are interested in Linux and developing computer stuff and sailing around the world, the radio communication stuff. That's the hardest thing. I've been hard to find people around where I live. That's why I want to get out to the water, because the people that are, sailing, captains and all those type of people, those are the people I got to get around again, and talk to, and we're going to be meeting those people. So, plus, another reason why I want to share this stuff is we're going to be learning scripting, man. People need to start learning. They need to start learning a side hustle. I couldn't tell you. I've made money, man. Just helping people out, doing, just scripting, just cleaning up their stuff, all types of stuff. It can be, listen, man. If you find a good idea, I couldn't tell you. There's so many things out there that people need that haven't been thought of yet for these applications and stuff that will help a lot of old people, young people, all this stuff, man. And you know what I mean? I'm really working on trying to get people to learn how to collaborate and bring it all together on social media instead of bickering, That's my real goal. And then be able to translate it. That's another problem I'm having, I need Mago in my life because she can translate so much better. That's her passion. That's what she does. Mago knows 3 languages for God's sake. You know what I mean? This woman speaks French, Spanish, Espanol, Mexican, you know what I mean? And other things, she knows so much. Asian words, she knows. It blows my mind, I can't believe this woman even said, yes to dumb retrospect, but we're going to hit apply, instead of just going in the terminal and doing it, one by one. This is also why I like the GUI, and this is also why people like Windows, the ease of use. This is why most people use Windows, which we're going to be developing in it, in Visual Studio, right here, which you open it up, Visual Studio Installer. I already have Visual Studio Community, 2022, 17.6.4. That's what we're using. It says Developer News, Visual Studio Toolbox, accelerate your builds of SDK-style.NET projects. Announcing create a full request in Visual Studio. We'll go over that, more, and stuff, but we're going to install this. because once you learn Bash, once you learn Python and Linux and stuff, it's all the same. You just got to learn the different languages, you know. You got to figure out, okay, this is mostly the main difference really is the syntax. Like Linux uses /, Windows uses /, which we'll go over that some other time. But it's the same thing, you know. You know, you open up a terminal here, Windows, you type in CMD. You can just type in CMD, right? It says command prompt. You hit on it, you know, and it's the same thing, you know. But instead of change directory like we've been using in here, you know, the language is like we type in CD, you know, remember we type in /, right? And then type in ls, right, for list. And then, you know, we want to go to the bin folder, so we type in CD bin, right? And then we type in ls again so we can list what's in the bin folder, which shows all the programs, which are a shitload. This is just a little different. It's dir for directory. You hit dir, you know, and then, you know, you do the same thing in a sense, but you got to learn the different languages, the different commands, you know. So we had what? dir most likely, right? For just thinking, right? dir, we're just for a new person in a sense, right? It's always going to be case sensitive. So we're probably going to have to type in dir, and then we want, I don't know, downloads. I don't know if I download anything. Well, I have, but I don't think so. I don't know if there's any, I don't know if I, you know, deleted it. So it's case sensitive. Let's see if it does anything. Boom. It does have stuff. So it says directory of C users laptop downloads. It tells me everything that's in there. So it tells me the date, the time, when I downloaded it. This is why I'm going to be using Windows too. I love Windows, I always have. But I love open source. I love the idea of open source, and I've always used it. So we're going to be using both. You know, and a lot of programs, you know, they do both. So, you know, I downloaded Nine-Night, you know, we did another video on that. Physics, main, Visual Studio setup. You know, so I didn't delete them. You know, it says I have 4 files, 3 directories. It tells me how many bytes it took, all that stuff. Which, you know, I don't even think clear. Like for instance, right here, this is what I mean by syntax. You got to learn it. Right, here's the terminal in here. Right, say we do this, you know, and we get all this stuff in the window. We hit clear to clear the window when it's done. This is going to be different. I can almost guarantee we type in clear here, it's not going to do anything. So, you know, we just update it, blah, blah, blah. I'll show, for example. Bam. Which we can't upgrade because we have, unless we close this. But I just wanted to show you once it, you know, it goes. I'm going to close anyways. That's why it's taking so long. But see, we type in clear. Alright, it'll clear the window. This one, I can almost guarantee it ain't going to do it. Clear. It says clear is not recognized as an internal or external command. Opera, program, or batch file. So, yeah, let's see if these are downloaded. You can go ahead and see it, figure it out. Go Google it. It'll tell you if you're interested. But, you know, we're going to have all this stuff. It says you do not need a commercial radio operator license to operate, repair, and maintain any of the following types of stations: two-way land mobile radio equipment, such as that used by police and fire departments, taxi cabs and truckers, businesses and industries, ambulances, rescue squads, local, state, federal government agencies, personal radio equipment used as citizen band radio service, CBRS, radio control radio service, RCRS, and general mobile radio services, GMRS. Auxiliary broadcast stations such as remote pickup stations, domestic public fixed and mobile radio systems such as mobile telephone systems, cellular systems, rural radio systems, point-to-point microwave systems, multi-point distribution systems, etc. Stations that operate in the cable television relay service, satellite stations, both uplink and downlink of all types. Note, possession of commercial radio operator license or permit does not authorize an individual to operate amateur or GMRS radio stations. Only a person holding an amateur or GMRS radio operator license may operate an amateur or GMRS radio station. And then it gives you, additional license information, what you can, what you cannot do, the laws behind it, where you can find all this stuff, the support, the libraries, the FCC forms to fill it out, the certificates, how long it's provided for, blah, blah, blah. If you lose it, destroy license, name, how to, the bureau, all that stuff. It was updated. This last time this website was updated was 2021, so 2 years ago. It hasn't changed. And then you got to go through all this stuff, which, we're going to, to-dos, right? We're going to bookmark, hit save. So we're going to go down to choose to-dos, which we already had it in there, and bam, now I got it in my bookmark, which I got to contact Synergy, because now I want to use their program, which I have, which I got to buy it, which I don't have the money right this second, nor do I need it right this second. We'll do it when we get the boat, right? When that time comes. But, it's in the to-do bookmark, I got God studies, Kayla Linux studies, weather studies, web search, tools, to-dos, and sailing. That's what I got so far. Then we got this, which we're going to be doing ABS guides today. Probably that's what we're going to be just doing, ABS guide today, and then a little bit of working on the truck, checking emails, that type of stuff. I've been jamming out. I got to rest my legs. That's the thing. I got to take a day to rest. It's Friday, tomorrow, Saturday. I was really hard on my body this week. My cat, I've been away from my cat. I haven't been spending much time with her. So I got to make sure she's getting to that age where I got to spend a lot of time with her, She's already laying in my lap and stuff. She's climbing on me. You got to make sure that you got to get them attached to you, where she will follow me 24/7, me and her can communicate well. I say Mentora and she come running, every time. There's no question asked, That's how you got to get them. And that's the only way to do that is do this for days, it takes a while. Basically until they're fully grown, and they grow fast. Within it takes about 4 or 5 months, half a year, about a half a year of doing this, you know what I mean? You'll have a full-blown attached cat once you do everything I've been showing you. You'll have a cat follow you wherever you want. If you want it to act like a dog, you got to get a dog. You got to have a dog around. That's the thing. I might get one. I don't know. Because the cat will follow the dog, The dog cat would be best friends. When the dog runs to the door and starts barking at the door, the cat will follow and start meowing like a dog, but bark. Go meow, meow, meow. Listen, I've seen it. My old cat did it. I have many stories about many cats. I used to, there was a friend of mine, he said his cat used to only eat Cheeto Puffs and Captain Crunch. She's so cute. I love that cat. I love Princess. I miss that cat. I love this cat though. This cat's cute. She will do. She will do. Say I will do, Daddy. I hope she's smart enough. She seems like she's going to be. I don't want to bring her on the boat and her get hurt, I'm trying to get her to stop running between my feet. It's hard to do. I love you, Mentora. It's so nice that her face isn't all messed up anymore. I'm so happy for her. She got teethies. Yeah, I got teethies, Dad. See, my teethies are finally coming in. All of them are finally coming in. See how once you train them like this, you can do this all day. It's all in the ears and right here. Most of them. This one too, she loves this part, but that's also because when I first had her, this was itchy really bad, her beak was fully crusted over and scabbed up. She had no teeth. Her whole nose was fucking clogged up. She couldn't breathe. She was dying. It's amazing. God is good, man. God sent me over there. What? I'm trying to stimulate her nose, because her nose right here is the last to develop the nerves. She don't like it, but it excites the nerves. It gets it going. It stimulates it, you know what I mean? Because remember, it was dead. The shit was rotted, the infection was eating at the flesh, It was burning her eyes. I got the shit, man. They're fucking my sty. That sty finally just, started going away from her. I had the same infection from her. It was fucking disgusting. What, girl? What? I know, baby. She's like, what the fuck, man? Hmm. Somebody's fighting. We're about to smoke. Let's see if this ABS guide downloaded. So let's see. LS, I think we're in the bin folder. Nope. We got to type in CD / LS. Make sure it's there. We could have just typed in CD bin, but. And then LS. Alright. ABS guide. No, it didn't download? That's weird. Let's do this. I had it downloaded. Where the fuck is this thing? Let's see if it downloaded. Just type in study, just see what popped up. ABS guide. That's what I swear to God, that's what I typed in. Huh. Let's see. Education. Wide margin. FCC exam. I did Bible time. I got the FCC exam. It should just be the ABS guide though. Should be just a terminal program. It shouldn't be in here. I mean, I could be wrong. That's why I was surprised it didn't pop up. Let's just do this. We'll actually scroll through and see if we see it. It's such a habit for me to type in LS. Before I just type in bin. So, We'll just scroll to the top. Well, let's just open up big window, so it just still didn't scroll all the way through. You can go to like the window settings and you can change like how it's all viewed and stuff, like column and all that stuff. Tabs layout, you can do all that stuff. Scroll bar layout, you can switch it. So much shit with Kali Linux. There'd be no way I use all this stuff. A lot of it's system stuff. So, AV, that doesn't show. Still don't see it. It's got to be in here somewhere. I'm having a brain fart. I think I need to smoke. That's what it is. Not really, but I'll find it. It's got to be in a different folder or something like that. It's probably in a different folder. Probably installed in a different folder, and I just don't know what exactly folder and installed. I accidentally hit the button to take a screenshot. Now I've been wanting to smoke this bud too. I've actually been pretty busy doing stuff. I went out to the garage. I cleaned some stuff up by that last video uploaded. I was looking for tools, getting this stuff. I figured out what that stuff was. I've been getting stuff set up. I ate some cereal, which I'm hungry. And I need to come up with some money today so I can eat lunch. And get some food for dinner and stuff. I need some heavy hearty today. Yeah. So I gotta earn some money today. I gotta figure something out. So that's what we're about to do. This is what we're gonna do today, I'm about to upload this video, smoke real quick. We're gonna go over a Bible study. I'm gonna read a verse. I really want to read Isaiah. We're gonna go read Isaiah. Isaiah was he was the best prophet, man. He was the most, he's literally, it's one of the biggest books in the Bible, if not the biggest. It's the longest, which I'm trying to reference, too. So we're going to read Isaiah. Like we did John, we're going to go through Isaiah. So we'll fill out this stuff, for tomorrow. All that stuff. We're going to start doing this, It starts 7th. There's a reason why I started on the 7th. 7 is a good number. The lucky 7 is why they call it the lucky 7. So you're not lucky, you're blessed. Lucky 777. Lucky fish. Alright, time to read. I gotta get some Bible stories in today before I upload this video and get started for the rest of the day. Alright, Isaiah. Isaiah is towards like the end of the Bible, Old Testament. Just before Ezekiel. Jeremiah, it's before Jeremiah. And then it looks like, between goes Isaiah then Jeremiah. Which Ecclesiastes should be Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs, and Isaiah. Song is good too. Alright. We're going to read the introduction to Isaiah with one of my favorite study Bibles, the Remix. It says, For Isaiah, words are watercolors, and melodies and chisels to make truth and beauty and goodness. Or as the case may be, hammers and swords and scalpels to unmake sin and guilt and rebellion. Isaiah does not merely convey information, he creates visions, delivers revelation, arouses belief. He is a poet in the most fundamental sense, a maker, making God present at the presence urgent. Isaiah is the supreme poet prophet to come out of the Hebrew people. Isaiah is a large presence in the lives of people who live by faith in God, who submit themselves to being shaped by the Word of God and are on the lookout for the holy. It says the character's name for God in Isaiah is the Holy. As we read this large and comprehensive gathering of messages that were preached to the ancient people of Israel, we find ourselves immersed in both the presence and the action of the Holy. It says, the more hours we spend pondering the words of Isaiah, the more the word holy changes in our understanding. If holy was ever a pious, pastel-tinted word in our vocabularies, the Isaiah preaching quickly turns it into something blazing. Holiness is the most attractive quality. The most intense experience we ever get of sheer life, authentic, first-hand living, not life looked at and enjoyed from a distance. We find ourselves in on the operations of God Himself, not talking about them or reading about them. Holiness is a furnace that transforms the men and women who enter it. Holy, holy, holy is not needlepoint. It's the banner of a revolution, the revolution. The book of Isaiah is expansive, dealing with virtually everything that is involved in being a people of God on this planet Earth. The immersive art of Isaiah involves taking the stuff of our ordinary and often disappointing human experience and showing us how it is the very stuff that God uses to create and save and give hope. As this vast panorama opens up before us, it turns out that nothing is unusable by God. He uses everything and everybody as the material for His work, which is the remaking of the mess we have made of our lives. Symphony is the term many find useful to capture the fusion of simplicity and complexity presented in the book of Isaiah. The major thrust is clearly God's work of salvation. The Salvation Symphony, in the name, it says the name Isaiah means God saves. The prominent themes repeated and developed throughout this vast symphonic work are judgment, comfort, and hope. All three elements are present on nearly every page, but each also gives distinction to the three movements of the book that so powerfully enact salvation. Messages of judgment, chapters 1 through 9, messages of comfort, chapters 40 through 55, and messages of hope, chapters 56 through 66. And then it says from, so it tells you where Isaiah was from. It says, smart, well-born, and well-connected, Isaiah had every reason to look forward to a promising career as a landowner or politician, but an experience at around age 18 of the Blazing Holy changed his course. For more than 40 years, he was God's ambassador to the royal court, enraging craven kings and guiding a halfway decent one. It says, the good citizens of Judah enjoyed their thriving economy and their all-you-can-worship God buffet. Rich businessmen used ruthless legal tactics on the vulnerable, their wives strutted around in expensive clothes, and King Ahaz had an impressive Assyrian altar copied and installed in Jerusalem. Holy, holy, holy wasn't in these people's vocabulary. They worried about national security threats, but they thought the solution was clever politics rather than doing what God said. The more dangerous things got, the more they fled to sex and alcohol. It says, it's given an example of what was going on around the same time Isaiah was alive around the world, okay? It says, ironically, Judah's politicians thought their most dangerous enemy was their northern cousin, Israel. They were actually glad as Israel's government and economy gradually collapsed during Isaiah's lifetime. They cheered to see Assyria obliterate Israel and sobered up, only when the Assyrian army kept coming and nearly swallowed Jerusalem too. They couldn't see Israel's destruction as a warning to them. In distant Greece, people had been scraping along for generations in villages, but now they invented what they called a polis, or a city-state. policia. It's where the Spanish word derives from, Latin. Polis, it says right here, it spells, or city-state. Our word politics comes from polis, politics, policia, law. It says, the Greeks enjoyed politics. Compared to vast bureaucratic Assyria or Egypt, the Greek states were tiny, small enough to allow for experiments in government. It says, it was possible to give every non-slave male a voice in major decisions, although in practice, small groups of wealthy men controlled many of the city-states most of the time. Which, America. United States of America, because it isn't America. So you got North America, you got South America. It's the United States of America. You have states of men and women that believe in laws and different things, because every law is different. Every state has different laws. That's why they call it a state. That's why there's things called unions and all those other things. And then people act like it's, government, that they'll say government, yeah, but a government's a body of people. And they can be influenced. The people. It says, quit your worship trades, messages of judgment, Isaiah. It says, a vision that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw regarding Judah and Jerusalem during the times of the kings of Judah. It says, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. It says, heaven and earth, you are the jury. Listen to God's case. I had children and raised them well, and they turned on me. The ox knows who's boss. The mule knows the hand that feeds them, but not Israel. My people don't know up from down. Shame. Misguided God dropouts, staggering under their guilt baggage. Gang of miscreants. Band of vandals. My people have walked out on me, their God, turned their backs on the Holy of Israel, walked off and never looked back. Why bother even trying to do anything with you when you just keep to your bullheaded ways? You keep beating your heads against brick walls. Everything within you protests against you. From the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, nothing's working right. Wounds and bruises and running sores, unintended, unwashed, unbandaged. Your country is laid waste. Your cities burned down. Your land is destroyed by outsiders while you watch, reduced to rubble by barbarians. Daughter Zion is deserted like a tumble-down shack on a dead-end street, like a tar paper shanty on the wrong side of the racks, like a sinking ship abandoned by the rats. If God of the angel armies hadn't left us a few survivors, we'd be as desolate as Sodom, doomed just like Gomorrah, which God destroyed. They destroyed the city because it was so fucking. Everybody was fucking lesbian and gay. Butt fucking each other. That's why he destroyed it. It says, listen to my message, you Sodom school leaders. You butt fucking leaders. That's what he's saying. It says, receive God's revelation, you Gomorrah school people. Why this frenzy of sacrifices, God's asking. Don't you think I've had my fill of burnt sacrifices, rams and plump grain-fed calves? Don't you think I've had my fill of blood from bulls, lambs, and goats? When you come before me, whoever gave you the idea of acting like this? Running here and there, doing this and that, all this sheer commotion in the place provided for worship. It says, quit your worship charades. You gotta remember, this is what people, God commanded them to sacrifice, and here they are using what God told them to do to help heal them. They're using it to get self-promotion and do lustful things, to crave, to fill that black hole and do, the things they want to do, not do what God wants them to do. It says, quit your worship charades. I can't stand your trivial religious games, monthly conferences, weekly Sabbaths, special meetings. I can't stand one more. Meeting for this, meeting for that. I hate them. You've worn me out. I'm sick of your religion. While you go right on sinning. When you put on your next prayer performance, I'll be looking the other way. No matter how long or loud or often you pray, I'll not be listening. And do you know why? Because you're tearing people to pieces and your hands are bloody. Go home and wash up, clean up your act, sweep your lives clean of your evil doings, so I don't have to look at them any longer. Say no to wrong, learn to do good. Work for justice, help the down and out, stand up for the homeless, go to bat for the defenseless. Let's argue this out, it says Isaiah. That's what Isaiah put. Remember, Isaiah's writing this. Isaiah just wrote, let's argue this out. This is this next poem. He put, come sit down, let's argue this out. This is God's message. If your sins are blood red, they'll be snow white. If they're red like crimson, they'll be like wool. If you'll willingly obey, you'll feast like kings. But if you're willful and stubborn, you'll die like the dogs. That's right, God says so. Then you put those who walk out on God. It says, oh, you can believe it. The chaste city has become a horror. She was once all justice, everyone living as good neighbors, and now they're all at one another's throats. Your coins are all counterfeits. Your wine is watered down. Your leaders are turncoats who keep company with crooks. They sell themselves to the highest bidder and grab anything not nailed down. They never stand up for the homeless, never stick up for the defenseless. This decree, therefore, of the Master, God of the angel armies, the strong one of Israel, this is it. I'll get my oppressors off my back. I'll get back at my enemies. I'll give you the back of my hand. Purge junk from your life. Clean you up. I'll set honest judges and wise counselors among you, just like it was back in the beginning. Then you'll be renamed city that treats people right, the true blue city. God's right ways will put Zion right again. It's talking about the earth, God's people, Jerusalem, the new Jerusalem. It's the daughter of Zion. It says God's right actions restore her penitence. So God's right actions, because he's saying it's because once you restore and you're penitent and you allow Jesus come in your heart, it's his actions that are moving you, not you. It says, but it's curtains for rebels and God's traitors, and dead end for those who walk out on God. Your dalliances and those Oak Grove shrines will leave you looking mighty foolish. All that fooling around in God and Goddess gardens that you thought was the latest thing, you'll end up like an oak tree with all of its leaves falling off, like an unwatered garden, withered and brown. The big man will turn out to be dead bark and twigs, and his work the spark that starts the fire, that exposes men and work both, and nothing but cinders and smoke. And then it says, climb God's mountain, chapter 2. The message Isaiah got regarding Judah and Jerusalem. You got to remember, he's writing this to the people, warning the people, that, he was a man of influence, you know what I mean? Not only was it, people came to him to talk to him, you know what I mean? The king came to him, was like, I'm a king, what the fuck do I do? How do I control these people? Because he knew that he had to make decisions and wasn't a good person in a sense. That's why they talk about these people. Because, they knew that they're responsible for all these people. They knew that they were responsible for God's law. It was, they were charged. God charged Israel God's sacred law. They're supposed to be they're supposed to be doing what this exactly says you're supposed to be doing. They're doing opposite. It says, there's a day coming when the mountain of God's house will be the mountain, solid, towering over all mountains. All nations will river towards it. People from all over set out for it. They'll say, come, let's climb God's mountain, go to the house of the God of Jacob. He'll show us the way he works so we can live the way we're made. It's crazy, he's telling the people what's to come all back then, you know what I mean? Trying to tell them to change your ways for when, because he knew that you only sleep when Jesus returns, people are going to rise. It says, Zion's the source of the revelation. God's message comes from Jerusalem. He'll settle things fairly between nations. He'll make things right between many peoples. They'll turn their swords into shovels, their spears into hoes. No more will nation fight nation. They won't play war anymore. Come, family of Jacob, let's live in the light of God. God, you've walked out on your family Jacob because the world is full of hokey religion, Philistine witchcraft and pagan hocus pocus, a world rolling in wealth. Stuffed with things, no end to its machines and gadgets, and gods of all sorts and sizes. These people make their own gods and worship what they make. A degenerate race, face down in the gutter. Don't bother with them, they're not worth forgiving. That's people now. Pretentious egos brought down to earth. That's what it says. It says, it's still the same chapter 2. Head for the hills, hide in the caves from the terror of God, from his dazzling presence. People with a big head are headed for a fall. Pretentious egos brought down a peg. It's God alone at front and center on the day we're talking about. The day that God of the angel armies is matched against all big talking rivals, against all swaggering big names, against all giant sequoias hugely towering, and against the expansive chestnut, against Kilimanjaro and Annapurna, against the ranges of Alps and the Andes, against every soaring skyscraper, against all proud obelisks and statues, against ocean-going luxury liners, against elegant three-masted schooners. The swelled big heads would be punctured bladders, the pretentious egos brought down to earth, leaving God alone at front and center on the day we're talking about. And all those sticks and stones dressed up to look like gods will be gone for good. Climber into caves in the cliffs, duck into any hole you can find, hide from the terror of God from his dazzling presence when he assumes his full stature on earth, towering and terrifying. On that day, men and women will take sticks and stones they've decked out in gold and silver to look like gods and then worshipped, and then they will dump them in any ditch or gully, then run for rocks and caves and cliff hideouts to hide from the terror of God, from his dazzling presence when he assumes his full stature on earth, towering and terrifying. It says, quit scraping and fawning over mere humans so full of themselves, so full of hot air. Can't you see there is nothing to them? We'll keep on reading. It says, Jerusalem on its last legs. It says, the master God of the angel armies is emptying Jerusalem and Judah of all the basic necessities, plain bread and water to begin with. He's withdrawing police and protection, judges and courts, pastors and teachers, captains and generals, doctors and nurses, and yes, even the repairmen of jacks of all trades, he says. I'll put little kids in charge of the city. Schoolboys and schoolgirls will order everyone around. People will be at each other's throats, stabbing one another in the back. Neighbor against neighbor, young against old. The no account against the well-respected. One brother will grab another and say, you look like you've got a head on your shoulders. Do something. Get us out of this mess. And he'll say, me? Not me. I don't have a clue. Don't put me in charge of anything. Many people do that all the time. Jerusalem on its legs. Judah is soon down for the count. Everything people say and do is at cross purposes with God. Man, listen, when I was working at Ferris, working those 12-hour shifts, I was in charge of all those people. Listen, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how many people don't want to work. They just want to do the bare minimum. So Jerusalem on its last legs. Judah is soon down for the count. Everything people say and do is at cross purposes with God. It says, a slap in my face, brazen in their depravity. They flaunt their sins like degenerate Sodom. Doomed to their eternal souls, they've made their bed, now they'll sleep in it. Reassure the righteous that their good living will pay off, but doomed to the wicked disaster. Everything they did would be done to them. Skinny kids terrorize my people. Silly girls bully them around. My dear people, your leaders are taking you down a blind alley. They're sending you off a wild goose chase. It says, a new one. It says, a city brought to her knees by her sorrows. It says, God enters the courtroom. He takes his place at the bench to judge his people. God calls for order in the court, hauls the leaders of his people into the dock. You've played havoc with this country. Your houses are stuffed with what you've stolen from the poor. What is this anyway? Stomping on my people, grinding in the faces of the poor into the dirt? That's what the master God of the angel army says. God says, Zion women are stuck up, prancing around in their high heels, making eyes at all the men in the street, swinging their hips, tossing their hair, gaudy and garish and cheap jewelry. The master will fix it so those Zion women will all turn bald, scabby, bald-headed women. The master will do it. That's funny. I mean, we all get old, right? It says the time is coming when the master will strip them of their fancy baubles, the dangling earrings, anklets and bracelets, combs and mirrors and silk scarves, diamond brooches and pearl necklaces, the rings on their fingers and the rings on their toes, the latest fashions and hats, exotic perfumes and aphrodisiacs, gowns and capes, all the world's finest in fabrics and design. Instead of wearing seductive scents, these women are going to smell like rotting cabbages. Instead of modeling flowing gowns, they'll be sporting rags. Instead of their stylish hairdos, scruffy heads. Instead of beauty marks, scabs and scars. Your finest fighting men will be killed. Your soldiers left dead on the battlefield. The entrance gate to Zion will be clotted with people mourning their dead. A city stooped under the weight of her loss, brought to her knees by her own sorrows. Crazy. Chapter 4. That will be the day when 7 women will gang up on one man, saying, we'll take care of ourselves, get our own food and clothes, just give us a child, make us pregnant so we'll have something to live for. What my daughter's mother did to me. She didn't want me, she just wanted a kid. Which I'm thankful I gave it to her because of who she is. She was lonely. She was adopted. She had a twin brother. You know, now that I'm my age, I understand this, you know what I mean? That's why I've forgiven her. I don't forget, though, what she's done. It hurt me. It fucked me up. That's what drove me into the hard drugs and all that fucking lifestyle. And listen, I was bad. Listen, I had to rack up $1,000 a day or more. You think I wasn't? Listen, man, I knew people. I was doing shit. I was really out there doing it constantly. I never lost my license. I was slick. I was slick as fuck. The only reason why I got caught is because I gave up. I stopped giving a fuck. I started getting bummy like everyone else on the street. That was after I already made a 10-year run. People didn't even know I was doing that shit for almost 10 years, a decade. Started fucking banging dope when I was like 15. Nobody even knew until I was like 27. I swept it under the rug. Because I was clean. I don't have HIV or anything like that. I never told anyone. You know what I mean? I never even started using needles till I was late in the game anyways. I always snorted. I was just doing heroin and coke, snorting it. I never got it. I never did it to get fucked up. That's why I didn't start ODing until the shit started to have fentanyl in it. I never had a problem. It was a problem, but I was able to maintain it and not people see it. Crazy, man, to me. It says, let's see. Chapter 4, it says, God's branch. And that's when God's branch will sprout green and lush. The produce of the country will give Israel's survivors something to be proud of again. Oh, they'll hold their heads high. Everyone left behind in Zion, all the discards and rejects in Jerusalem will be reclassified as holy, alive, and therefore precious. God will give Zion's women a good bath. He'll scrub the blood-stained city of its violence and brutality, purge a place with the firestorm of judgment. Then God will bring back the ancient pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, and mark Mount Zion and everyone in it with his glorious presence, his immense protective presence, shade from the burning sun, shelter from the driving rain. It says, looking for a crop of justice. I'm probably going to do this because it's already an hour. Looking for a crop of justice. I'll sing a ballad to the one I love, a love ballad about his vineyard. The one I love had a vineyard, a fine, well-placed vineyard. He hoed the soil and pulled the weeds and planted the very best vines. He built a lookout, built a winepress, a vineyard to be proud of. He looked for a vintage yield of grapes, but for all of his pains he got junk grapes. Now listen to what I'm telling you. You who live in Jerusalem and Judah, what do you think is going on between me and my vineyard? Can you think of anything I could have done to my vineyard that I didn't do when I expected good grapes? What did I get, bitter grapes? Well, now let me tell you what I'll do to my vineyard. I'll tear down its fence and let it go to ruin. I'll knock down the gate and let it be trampled. I'll turn it into a patch of weeds, untended, uncared for. Thistles and thorns will take over. I'll give order to the clouds. Don't rain on that vineyard ever. Do you get it? The vineyard of God of the angel armies is the country of Israel. All the men and women of Judah are the garden he was so proud of. He looked for a crop of justice and saw them murdering each other. He looked for a harvest of righteousness and heard only the moans of victims. Yeah, because I'm afraid it's going to cut out. I don't think I'll be able to get it. We'll read some more tonight. The next one we'll start as the you who call evil good and good evil. That'll be the name of the title of this video. So I'll see you guys later. Take care. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, subscribe. I need you just as much as we all need God.